Assalamu alaikum. We are going to have another lecture on the telltale heart, and it is our lecture number 10. Let's see what we have, how our story proceeds. If still you think me mad, you will think so no longer when I describe the wise precautions I took for the concealment of the body. Our narrator, who is thinking that he is very sane and he is trying to prove himself very intelligent, and he is confirming from his audience, his readers, that he is perfectly all right as far as his mental condition is concerned. And to prove that, he is telling us that he has committed this murder, and after that murder, he concealed the body with uh, very keen precautions that made him wise. So here, the narrator attempts to prove his sanity by highlighting his careful planning, but this reveals his self delusion as he wrongly equates methodical thinking with rationality, exposing his distorted mindset. He thinks that he has performed that action with utmost care. It was uh, methodical, but he is equating it with rationality. That if someone is doing certain thing, following perfect method, it means that his action is based on rationality. So here he is delusional. He is thinking absolutely incorrect. The night waned, and I worked hastily, but in silence. Now, see the sentence. The night waned. Small sentences you will find here. I worked hastily. Again, three words, sentence, and then but in silence. Here he says that as time passes, night keeps on moving and moving and moving. The time is passing and passing and passing. The As time passes, the narrator works quickly but quietly. He is doing action in haste, but he is doing it with utmost silence. He's doing it quietly. No one can hear. So, this combination of urgency and control heightens tension and reflects his calculated but obsessive behavior. He is doing the action with utmost calculation, but this behavior also shows that he is obsessive. He's very well focused on what he is doing. Then he says, first of all, I dismembered the corpse. I cut off the head and the arms and the legs. Look at these two sentences, how cruel our narrator is, how cruel he, with utmost cruelty, he has not only killed the old man who is very innocent, who has no hatred with him, and now what he's doing with his body, corpse is body, he is cutting him into pieces brutally. So here, if you see, he is describing this act of dismembering the body in a very, very cold manner. Here he has mechanical tone, and you'll not find any kind of emotions. What he is doing is absolutely horrible. it is horrifying, it is inhuman. But look at his tone. It is mechanical, it is lacking any kind of emotions, and this emotional detachment is emphasizing that his moral numbness and that he is morally dead. He does not have any morals left in his personality, in his character. And it also highlights the extent of his psychological disturbance. The person who is sane, the person who is mentally okay, he cannot do such kind of action. Only the person who is mentally disturbed can do this action coldly and brutally. I then took up 3 planks from the flooring of the chamber and deposited all between the scatlings. I then replaced the board so cleverly, so cunningly, that no human eye, not even his, could have detected anything wrong. Now see how he has hidden those pieces of that innocent old man's body. Here he says that again, he has used the word cleverly, cunningly. Again, see 2 adverbs modifying his action. So, this repetition of cleverly and cunningly underscores his obsessive pride. He is feeling pride. He is feeling pride that he has done this project, or he has done this work with perfect concealment, with perfect secrecy. No one is able to judge, or no one can judge, that someone or someone's body is hidden under the floor. So it also reflects the desire for perfection and control. Throughout the story, we have observed our narrator that he is doing every action with perfection, and he has control on everything. He has shown perfect control of nerves at on every in every moment, and it reveals his fixation on the success of his crime. He is very well focused, and he is feeling pride that I have done this work with so much control and with so much perfection that no one can tell, that something, no one can detect that something wrong has been done in this room and someone has hidden the parts of body under the floor. There was nothing to wash out, no stain of any kind, no blood spot whatever. I had been too weary for that. A tub had caught all. Ha ha. So here, his narrative of concealment proceeds, and it becomes more and more cruel. And see, he says that he has done it with perfection, that he has not left a spot of blood on the floor. He has cleaned it with perfection. All right. So if you want to explain these lines, so here our narrator is boasting about leaving no evidence, and his laughter, he's laughing, ha ha ha. His laughter is conveying that he is excited, and his excitement is disturbing, and this moment exposes his moral corruption, that he is morally corrupt, he is morally insane, he has no value for the life of a human being, and it also suggests that he takes pleasure in his actions. He is not feeling ashamed of what he has done. Rather, he is uh, feeling pleasure. He is very joyful. He's very happy. When I made an end of these labors, it was 4 o'clock, still dark as midnight. Uh, Now he gives the reference to time as well as darkness. So there are two ideas, time and darkness. And when he refers to both of these, he creates a Gothic atmosphere here, which symbolizes secrecy, fear, and the hidden nature of the crime, while also emphasizing his endurance and patience, how patiently he has performed this cruel act of murder, of murdering an innocent person who is powerless, who is very innocent, who has not done any kind of damage or harm to him. He accepts it too. So as the bell sounded the hour, there came a knocking at the street door. I went down to open it with a light heart, for what had I now to fear? Or for what had I now to fear? That he has nothing to fear, because he has done everything with perfection. He has killed the old man, and now he has also concealed his body by cutting his body into pieces and hiding it under the floor. So now he's very confident. All right. Here in these two sentences, he is showing confidence, and it reveals a false sense of security. He thinks that he is perfectly secured now, but he is in the wrong ship. His belief that he has outsmarted everyone highlights his self-deception and overconfidence. He is deceiving himself. He is uh, overconfident. And always remember, whenever you are overconfident, you can have problem. So next, there entered three men who introduced themselves with perfect suavity as officers of the police. Now what happens? There is a turn, there is a twist in the story, that suddenly there is silence. Nobody hears anything. He thinks nobody hears anything, but it is not correct. It is otherwise. Someone has heard the voice. Someone has heard the shriek. And the police arrive there. They introduce themselves there as policemen, and here another tension starts. Everything is calm, but suddenly another action happens that nobody can think of. And their calm and polite manner shows contrast sharply with the narrator's guilt. And here we find dramatic irony, right? That here we know, our audience knows that he is guilty of doing certain crime. The police do not know, but we know that he has done a serious, heinous crime. He has killed an innocent person. A shriek had been heard by a neighbor during the night. Suspicion of foul play had been aroused. Information had been lodged at the police office, and they, the officers, had been deputed to search the premises. Now, this is very important part of our story. The neighbor has heard the shriek of the old man, and he has reported that the possibility that some suspicious thing has been done here. And here what happens, that suspicion and suspense, this suspicion raised by or felt by the neighbor, now we feel, due to this, we feel suspense. What is going to happen? Will he be able to deceive police too, or will he be caught? All right. So here we feel that he may be he may be found guilty, and as the reader, we sense that narrator's impending downfall is approaching. Despite his confidence, he is very confident. He has done this action with confidence, but still, we think that he can be caught, he can be punished. His downfall is approaching. He is thinking that he has done this work with perfection, and no one has heard it. But the situation is not as simple as it looks to him. He is in trouble now. Here, our passage number 10 finishes. So now, if we have to critically analyze it, so again, we'll follow the same six different points which we have been focusing on. The first one is that obsession as motivation. His obsession is basically motivating him. So again, you can say the narrator's meticulous concealment of the body reveals an intense obsessive compulsion. Every action, from dismemberment to careful hiding, cutting the body into pieces and then hiding it, is performed with precision, and it indicates that his behavior is driven not by logic but by fixation and psychological disturbance. Right? He is so much motivated, he's so much possessed that he has thought nothing but to conceal his body, to hide his heinous act. And again, in the whole story, we know that our narrator is not reliable. Narrator claims that his careful precautions prove his sanity, but his excessive pride and gloating expose clear instability. He's not stable. He does not look stable. His perception of control is self-deceptive. He's deceiving himself that he's perceiving that he has 100% wonderful control on each and everything. That is absolutely deceiving. He is deceiving himself. His thoughts are deceiving him. And it makes him an unreliable narrator whose version of reality cannot be trusted. What he thinks that it is reality, we cannot trust his thinking. We cannot trust his perception. What he thinks, we cannot trust it. Then again, you will find irony in this passage too. You will find dramatic irony. Poe is very good at employing it. As the narrator confidently believes he has committed the perfect crime, while the reader recognizes the growing danger that he is going to be caught. The neighbors shriek, and the arrival of the police foreshadow his eventual exposure. Now we come to know that, okay, he is going to be caught in future. We have started thinking that, no, he cannot escape this murder. And it creates a sharp contrast between belief and reality. What you think and what is in reality. Then we have another point, that is madness versus reason. This passage again highlights the paradox that methodical behavior can coexist with madness. We have been discussing it again and again in every paragraph. Although the narrator acts with planning and precision, his actions are morally and psychologically irrational. We cannot justify his actions following the reasons. No, there is no reason what he is doing. It is it is obviously irrational, and it proves that logical processes do not necessarily indicate sanity, right? And then again, our suspense and gothic atmosphere of the story prevails in this paragraph too. Poe builds suspense through reference to time and darkness in this paragraph. We find time and darkness, and such as 4 o'clock, still dark as midnight. And it's also darkness also symbolize his dark actions, his dark motives. So this contrast between the narrator's confidence and the presence of the police heightens tension. Another twist comes here, that he's very confident, but suddenly, out of the blue, the police arrive, and it raises tension in the minds of readers. And if we see the darkness and silence reinforce the Gothic mood of fear and secrecy. Last point that we are going to consider in our analysis, that is language and style. We will see the consistency in the writer's style, that his language reflects his disturbed mental state. Poe is showing the narrator as the person who is disoriented, who is not mentally or psychologically okay. Here you will find repetition, as we've been finding repetition throughout the story. Here the words cleverly, cunningly repeated. Then you will find exclamations, ha ha ha, and then precise detail. The precise detail also mirrors his obsessive thinking. All this repetition, then explanations, then precise detail, all these three combine themselves, and they show that our narrator is obsessive thinker. And Poe's style effectively immerse the reader in the mind of a character who appears controlled yet is profoundly unstable. He's not stable, but he is having control. So if you critically analyze the paragraph, you can say that this passage is basically very strongly or powerfully illustrates the narrator's obsessive nature and unreliable perspective, while he insists that his careful planning proves his sanity. His language and actions reveal deep psychological instability. His claims are not worthy to be proven. The detailed and methodical concealment of the body reflects not rationality, but a compulsive need for control and perfection. Poe employs dramatic irony, as the narrator believes he has committed the perfect crime, whereas the reader recognizes the growing threat with the arrival of the police. Similarly, the contrast between logical actions and underlying madness demonstrates that rational behavior does not guarantee sanity. Always remember this sentence. Whatever passage you find, you have to give this point. You have to include this point, because it is the central theme that rational behavior does not guarantee sanity. If you are behaving perfectly, it does not mean that you are sane. Furthermore, if you will also find Gothic elements such as darkness and silence, and though both elements intensify the suspense, while repetition and exclamatory expressions expose the narrator's disturbed mental state. He's not perfectly okay psychologically. The way exclamations are shown, the way he's been repeating the words, he's repeating adjectives, adverbs. So at the end, you can say that ultimately this passage shows that shows how obsession can create a dangerous illusion of control, that your obsession can lead you towards dangerous illusion. You can be delusive or to the extent that you think that you are perfect. You are doing whatever you are doing is absolutely correct, but in reality, it is not. So, this paragraph also highlights how the narrator's pride in his calculated actions blinds him to reality. He is blind, he cannot see the reality. He is feeling pride of his calculated action. Similarly, through irony, throughout the whole story, you'll find irony, suspense, and psychological depth. So you will also find the same in this paragraph. So this paragraph or this passage reveals, it tells us that madness can disguise itself at reason. You can also apply the same thing to the world, that how people justify their insane actions. So ultimately, it leads to inevitable exposure and downfall of our narrator, and even whosoever does this, he will or he faces his downfall. So for this lecture, it's enough. And inshallah, we are going to have three more lectures, because now three paragraphs or three passages of the story are left, and inshallah we are going to finish it as soon as possible. So I want you to listen to it very carefully and make notes of it, and inshallah you will understand it clearly. Thank you for watching.